Hi everyone, and welcome to the first installment of mini lessons for the Bell-Tone Brass Teaching Studios website. I am Shawn Bell, and today we are going to talk about Rochut. This is probably one of every trombone player's favorite etude books, most common etude books, and many students, high school, college, even myself as a professional player, practice out of this book very often to address the various issues that they might have with their playing. So today we're not necessarily going to talk about how we practice Rochut. Instead, we're going to talk about why. There's a lot of information about how to get better at these and different practice techniques, but a lot of times we don't think about why we work on this material. Is it because our teacher told us to? Is it because Joannes, says in interviews that this is an important book to practice out of, so all trombone players do it? My students often tell me that it's technique, that they're working on technique with this book. While these are all, good reasons to think about working on something, they're not really the primary reasons why we might want to work on this book. From my vantage point, there are two big reasons to work on this. Number one is playing legato in a smooth and clean fashion. And number two is making music out of these etudes. The first issue is legato playing. This is probably the easier of the two to address. And in some ways, this is a technique issue, but it really affects many aspects of our playing as trombone players. So I played a little bit of number four. That's usually one of my go-to examples. I really think it typifies the approach of Rochut and kind of how these etudes typically work. So right away, we get some of the problems that we might have for playing legato. In the first full measure, we have a B flat to a G, and then the second full measure, we have an F to a C. So we have these long slide movements that we need to execute with a smooth sound without getting any gliss. Now, if you're playing a horn that has a trigger, the F to the C is no problem. I have to be playing a straight tenor today. But your B flat to G is still going to be there even if you have a trigger. So you have to make sure that you're moving your slide quickly and that your tongue is coordinated. For example, if I do not move my slide quickly, I'm going to get a ton of gliss. Now that was a little bit overkill, but just to prove the point. Now if we speed the slide up, make sure it's very coordinated with the tongue, we can really eliminate a lot of that gliss. That's the idea of what we're looking for. It's a nice smooth sound with no glissando in there. Now, the second reason why we really practice Rochut is probably the more important of the two. And it is making music out of these simple melodies. All the melodies in this book are very straightforward, very singable, and we as musicians should be able to take those, interpret them, and make something that sounds beautiful and memorable. At its core, all musicians, we are playing melodies. From the very straightforward to extremely abstract, we are playing melodically oftentimes. So we've got to think, how do we do that? How do we play melodically? How do we breathe some life into these etudes? Well, most of them have very few dynamics written. So that's step number one, is figuring out what you want to do dynamically and probably writing it in to make sure that you are executing what you want to. You don't want to be kind of making decisions on the fly in this case. You want to know what you want to do ahead of time. Some other things to consider are maybe a little bit of vibrato, maybe some small tempo changes. Many of these have tempo changes indicated, and some of them could sometimes stand even adding a few more tempo changes in there. There are many avenues you can take to interpret these and just bring them to life a little bit more and draw the listener in. Even though these are etudes, we want to play these as if they were pieces we might perform for an audience. That's all about Rochut for today. I hope you guys will continue to tune in to some of these lessons that are coming in the future. We'll cover lots of stuff about just playing the trombone, warming up, and probably some stuff about some improvisation and some jazz as well. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Bell-Tone Brass, and also you can subscribe to the YouTube channel to get these lessons directly that way.